Aquis Stock Exchange is the newest of the divisions in the Aquis Exchange Group. Now, Sarah Louise, you're responsible for the onboarding of new customers and the bringing in of issuers. We've had this business around 3 years. Could you talk a little bit about the development that you've seen over the last 3 years?
Yes, absolutely. So, creating a new public market and being able to shape that doesn't come along very often. And so we really looked into the rules, the admission process, the whole advisory ecosystem that could help these entrepreneurial, fast growth enterprises grow as quickly as possible. And we wanted to build something that was understanding and catered to those companies. Based on our own experience of listing, which we found lengthy to say the least and expensive, it was really important to us to create that right environment going forwards. So, we had to start off with the plumbing first, the foundations, and ensure from an investor perspective that connectivity was there and retail investors could trade with the online trading platforms. We also wanted to ensure that brokers could see all the information, so their screens were displaying the same information as other exchanges and they were able to place their trades. And with the advisory network as well, we wanted companies to have choice. And so, we ensured that we had a wide variety of advisory members that were also part of our market. We basically wanted to make the IPO process as smooth as possible. And so, we set about doing as much as we could to ensure that happened, including the creation of 2 segments on our market. So we offer 2 routes to market, not one, like traditional exchanges. And we have Access, which is the segment for earlier stage, younger businesses. And we have Apex, which is for more established businesses, for larger businesses. 2 rule books, 2 separate requirements that reflect the stage of development that the company is at. So the rules are proportionate, they are appropriate, we feel that they provide the best facility and an opportunity for companies to grow on our market.
Well, Aquis Stock Exchange is one of 2 regulated growth markets in the United Kingdom. What would you describe as its sort of USP? Why would a company choose to come and list on the Aquis Stock Exchange?
So we have many. Firstly, it's a market that's been created for those companies based on real life experience. We have the fastest and most straightforward admission process, and that, as I've said, saves not only time but also cost. And that allows the companies to focus on growing their business. We also offer a direct exchange relationship, so we feel that provides a uniquely supportive environment in which for the companies to grow, working alongside the advisor and the company. Our BD and regulation doors are always open, and we feel that having that on-hand relationship really helps understand the objectives of the company and helps them to achieve them. We also have flexible rules when it comes to making acquisitions, so companies can act quickly when they see a target.
Well, scale-up capital is, of course, incredibly important to the United Kingdom. I mean, we have some amazing companies here and they need to scale up, and obviously the public markets are ideal for that. Yeah. Can you give us some examples that you've seen in the Aquis Stock Exchange?
So we've got lots. I can't go through them all today, but let's pick a few. So Equipmake springs to mind. This is an EV, an electric vehicle drivetrain developer and manufacturer that joined our market in July last year with a 35 million valuation and raising 10 million from large institutional investors. They have carried on doing what they said they were going to do, progressing, signing new contracts. They introduced a new strategic investor in January of this year for 6 million, and their valuation stands today at over 100 million. So obviously that's a great return for those investors. We also had a company called NMR, National Milk Records, is a dairy diagnostic company and joined our market in 2006 and grew steadily. They had a valuation of just over 3 million when they joined, and they were bought by Associated British Foods last month for just under 50 million. We also have One Health Group, which helps the NHS tackle their very long surgical waiting lists through a network of regional clinics and independent hospitals. They joined our market in November last year and also took part in the first Aquis Showcase Day, which we put on for retail and institutional investors to show the breadth of the companies that we had on the market. 16 pitched and One Health won that. They've continued to progress and to grow their revenues today, and we're very excited as to where they're going. So that's just a snapshot of the many exciting companies that we have on our market.
How many companies are actually quoted on the market?
We have over 100 companies quoted on the market now.
You've talked about the sort of proportionate rules, you've talked about the growth of the business, you've talked about making things sort of appropriate. What's next? What next for Aquis Exchange?
So we continue to evolve and work on our pipeline of companies, which is strong. We've seen an increase in secondary fundraisings. We're still welcoming IPOs, but we are working with regulators and government to ensure that we can provide easier and better access to retail investors, which will, help the growing companies to get that scale-up capital that they so dearly need. And we are part of a technology group, and innovation is always round the corner, and Aquis Group is known for its disruption in capital markets and improving transparency and efficiencies. And so we're excited about the different things that will come through the group and help entrepreneurial businesses of the future.
Sarah Louise, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.